Focusing now, you went from property management to a couple businesses you shared, and you're on way to getting to 17 businesses. So, what do
Yeah.
your businesses look like now? What's your business portfolio?
So we technically have 12 companies. We have 9 that we advertise to the public, really.
Can you share any horror stories or experiences that you've had that off the wall or odd or?
2. One's odd, one's just why.
And why do you decide to buy businesses instead of start them from scratch?
So that's an excellent question, actually. I don't care what company I have or what I do in life. If I'm not helping solve your problems, then I'm not doing my job.
Okay, well, Dave Johnson, thank you for joining us on the podcast here today. I figured we'd just get right into it here on what made you get started in real estate back when you started.
I mean, for me, it was, in fact, I just posted about this the other day. It was stop selling your services and start selling your solutions.
Mhm.
And for me, what got me involved was I've always been a problem solver. I've always been interested in anything making money.
Yeah.
But I was at a small restaurant in a small town, and it was one of those restaurants where you can kind of just interrupt all the tables talking and stuff like that. And a group of old men talking, complaining about their tenants and their problems. And I just interrupted and said, I think I can help you. And after like 30 minutes of listening to their woes, I got their contact information and I went home and boy, this had been 20 years ago now. I
Okay.
went home and I just Googled everything, trying to figure out answers because I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I just knew, I'm like, I just had this feeling like, I think I can solve this.
Mhm.
And contacted them all back. And out of them, I got my first 12 clients. I should say one client with 12 properties.
Okay.
Just really
Property
that started it.
management.
And I learned right away because we've had our own properties and we've sold our properties and to become debt free. But I learned I love the management end of things, not necessarily the ownership of real estate. I love the ownership of businesses.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I love.
Okay.
So that's how it all started. We started with that group of guys, their properties, and then ventured into our own after that and learned a small process, and
Yeah.
got a lot of help along the ways and paid for a lot of help along the ways.
Yeah.
So
So 20 years ago,
About
you were
20 years
a
ago.
overheard and overheard a table talking, or you were,
I was just eating.
You were
at
just
the rest-
eating.
I was
Okay.
just eating at the restaurant.
Okay.
So not a
or what
waiter.
were you doing for work at the time?
Let's see, at the time, I had just been let go from a paper shredding company.
Okay.
So
Okay. So looking for something new, and it
just
was
looking for something new.
delivered right there.
Yeah. I was doing like little odd jobs here and there just to keep afloat and stuff like that. But that's about how it started.
So to get started in property management, there's a lot of things we know now that you probably didn't know then. So did you give all the tenants your cell phone number, and how did they get in touch with you? Were you doing your own maintenance, or did you hire a maintenance
my
staff? How did you get started?
That is an excellent question because yes, I gave them my personal address. I gave them my personal phone number. All big mistakes. I feel like they could have started a credit card in my name with all the information they had on me. Um, I had no process. Everything was done through your basic Excel program that you can purchase right off the shelf
Yeah.
back then.
Mhm.
I didn't know how to vet tenants properly. It was all of that gut feeling, which can serve you well in some situations,
Yeah.
but you have to back it up now that I've learned all these years.
Yeah.
Um, we had a lot of situations where we learned trial by fire is what I call it.
Yeah.
And like anybody starting out, you hopefully you learn from your mistakes and you keep moving forward, and that's what we did. I remember one time I'm hanging out on a Saturday morning with my family and got my swimsuit on because we were running with the kids were little. We'll run through the sprinkler, and a tenant comes up to my door and knocks on the door, and I'd just gone in to use a restroom or something and not answered the door without a shirt on and my
Yeah.
swim trunks. And I'm like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, I just read the address on the bill that you sent me for rent." And I'm like, that was the day I'm like, I got to change this.
Yes.
How do I do that?
Do you remember your first emergency service call? Because that's always a memory as a new manager.
It is. It was actually my first one was on my personal property that I own.
Okay.
There was a hole in the roof. And I'm thinking that roof is 5 years old. There shouldn't be any hole in it.
Yeah.
What had happened was the tenant was a single mom and had an autistic child, and the child got up on the roof and loves to hang out during the midday on the roof.
Oh, wow.
And he was up there peeling shingles off.
Wow.
And
I've never heard of that before.
oh my word, he was peeling shingles off, and he was a screwdriver, some sort of metal object. He was kind of stabbing into
Wow.
the wood deck that was underneath
Wow.
the shingles, and I had to ask her, I'm like, why are these peeled back? And she goes, oh, that must be what he's doing up there all day. And I'm thinking, why would you not have your son coming down? I
Yeah.
mean, let alone if they had needs or anything like that, just why are they on the roof in general?
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I mean, we've had situations where we're called out for fires. I mean, in general now, again, all these years of learning mistakes and
Mhm.
learning through things, we've had situations where we've been called out for squatters.
Hmm.
I just released a post on my social media just a week ago where, unbeknownst to me, an owner allowed, trying to save a few bucks, allowed a painter to live in an apartment while he's painting. It's not habitable.
Uh-huh.
And we're getting called in the middle of the night for somebody we don't even know
Yeah.
doing stuff that nobody should, yelling racial slurs and knocking holes in walls and banging on all the doors at 3 a.m.
Well,
Actually, I think it was like midnight at that time. I left at 3. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Who am
Yeah.
I addressing? My key box is wide open. The owner had given him access to my key box, all this stuff. And long story short, the guy had trashed the unit that the owner was trying to save money on.
wow.
And I had to talk with the owner and be like, listen, you gotta let me know this stuff. If that's the route you want to go and let people stay like a work for a rent type situation, I said, we can help mitigate that to a certain extent with contracts. I said, it's still going to probably bite you in the rear, but we can help mitigate it a little more.
Yeah. Wow. That's you've experienced some crazy things already.
My word.
But so backing up to where you started. So you started with 12 doors. At what point did you decide that you wanted to scale this? How big did you want to go? And what does the last 20 years of property management look like? Where did you start? How did you get there? And then where you at today?
So those 12 units, those 12 houses, doors that we started with, we kept those for approximately 90 days
Okay.
before I found out that was an owner I didn't want my name attached to.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why those tenants were arguing. It's because he didn't want to put any money into his property.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there's a fine line where you have to put money to keep your properties up to where you just want to spoil the tenant. There's a fine line between that. You want to give everyone a quality place to live.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're not willing to invest any money and your property's falling apart, well, of course your tenants are going to complain.
Yeah, it is a thin line, right? Because if you invest too much, now it's not a profitable deal, and that's the reason you bought it in the first place. But if you don't
Exactly.
do enough, then it slowly gets worse, and it can compound over time, and now you're a slumlord. So.
Exactly. And so I didn't want my name attached to that. So we let those go. And after about 90 days, and I'm like, okay, we're back to ground zero. And I remember the day that we got one individual property. And that one property, I remember coming home, telling my wife, we are successful. We're making, I think that one property was making me $100 a month. I'm like, we just hit it big. And she's looking at me like I'm weird. And I said, babe, I can really see it. I said, we are going to grow this thing.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want to advertise and grow like that. I want to grow this by word of mouth. And we made it a point to never pay for advertisement for our company, for the property management company, but just to grow word of mouth. And we probably, in hindsight, we could have grown a lot faster in advertisement, but word of mouth, good praise will spread. And right now we're 19, 20 years later, we're running, well, as of yesterday, we're 256 doors.
Yeah.
And we just picked up today, I think, another 20, 21 properties
Well,
or doors. So
all just word of mouth, huh?
all word of mouth, all spreading out. In fact, the one door that when I went home and told my wife we're going to make this thing grow, they stuck with us until they sold their property just end of this last year.
Okay. Well, so you word of mouth are slowly scaling. At what point did you were wearing all the hats in the beginning? I'm sure the maintenance man.
I was a CEO, the leasing
admin,
agent, the
yeah.
admin, the maintenance guy, the accountant. I was everything.
What was the first one to go of all those hats that you said, I got to stop this one? Maintenance. Okay.
Maintenance. I had to stop hemorrhaging somehow. And once I hit 10 properties, I was ready to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
I didn't have a process really. I didn't have a system yet. I had paid somebody. I went down to Jackson, somebody that had a lot more properties than I had at that time. And I had said, I'm going to pay you for an hour of your time. Just teach me something.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what to ask for.
Yeah.
Just teach me something. And he helped me develop a plan to manage more properties and help me manage or produce a plan of who to hire out next. So
Okay.
maintenance was number one. I had to stop the hemorrhaging in that area because that was taking a lot of my time. Because I also, during this time, I worked a 60-hour-a-week job.
Okay.
So
And
I'm doing,
have a wife and
I
kids
had a
and yeah.
wife and kids, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm doing maintenance nights, weekends, lunch,
Hmm.
everything. And it was monopolizing everything.
Yeah.
And the whole goal of owning your own business or producing these assets is to ultimately produce a lifestyle where you can be with your family, make up your own time, make a lot more money. But in reality, we start to grab everything and it monopolizes a lot of our time.
Yeah.
So we hired a maintenance guy out. I ran everything else still for several years, but that helped out a lot. And I think I look back at how much I paid that first maintenance man. It was like probably like 14 an hour or something
Hmm.
like that. It was nothing.
Yeah.
And that guy is still with us today, and he is one of the he is the highest paid employee we have, and he does all of our quality control checks on
Okay.
everybody we
Hmm.
have out there. We have 6.5 maintenance men, so 6 full timers, 1 part timer. We have summer crews that come in. We actually have a summer program that comes in with for kids.
Okay.
So 13 through 16, they come in and they learn skill sets through the summer, and they get paid to do it.
Okay.
And it's a great situation. They're there. Usually it's about 4 hours a day, 3 days a week that they're doing it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, in the beginning, uh, it was maintenance. Then over the years, I hired I called them an office manager, but they really just answered phone calls, more of a receptionist type job.
Yeah. That's huge in property management though, because a lot of the you have to, if you're on site, you can't take calls and be in the car and be talking to tenants and all that,
Yep.
and a lot of the calls, it might be a maintenance issue that's not an emergency, but it's an emergency to them. So you talk them off the ledge sometimes, or just someone asking questions about a certain opening. That was same with me. Just having an admin answer the phone
Yep.
took so much stress away. But your maintenance guy, I wanted to ask if your very first one, did you hire him 1099 and he was working for other people, or did you bring him on full time? How did you get that first bit of help?
So originally, about the first year, he was 1099.
Okay.
Then he came on full time.
Okay.
And I honestly think, and one of these days I'll sit down with him and just ask him, but I honestly think he just felt pity on me at first and just said, hey,
Someone
this
needs to
kid
help
needs
this
help.
poor fool. Yeah, that's funny.
And
Where'd you find him?
so I actually just through network of people.
Okay.
I'm big into just networking with somebody I know. And
Mm-hmm.
if I don't know that person or that solution, somebody I know will know it or know someone.
Mm-hmm.
So I just networked out until I found them, and they ended up being the right fit. And I tell you what, he stuck out. People say I have a lot of grit. He probably has more grit than I do because he's seen me in my situations where I'm stressed out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's seen me in those situations where I didn't get a single payout because I'm like, no, we have to get this person a quality place. No, I will always pay you before I get paid because
Mm-hmm.
you're working for me.
Yeah.
So he's seen a lot and he's stuck it out, and he's phenomenal to this day.
Yeah. My life completely changed when I had a good maintenance guy and a good admin person, and
Yep.
then you're able to scale because those are two things you have to be kind of wired for. Those things, I think, dealing with people and then creatively solving problems on site.
Yep.
Those are two special skills that I have maybe 10% of, but now the people I have 100%, and they're killing it.
So they, yeah, and fast forward all these years, I learned that software is also very important.
Mhm.
I call 2024 my restructuring year because we grew, but we didn't grow tremendously. I probably grew less than 30 houses in 2024, but we restructured everything.
You switched into a new software.
A new software. We
Yeah.
switched into, I don't know if I can say this, but we
Yeah.
switched into AppFolio.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love AppFolio. Now they'll sell you the moon when
Yeah.
when those sales reps are trying to sell you
Yeah.
things. And when I stopped being stubborn, and because they sold me that their software will fit around my model.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, my model needs to fit around their software. Once I stopped being so stubborn and I just let it go, it's been phenomenal. I love it. But also at that same transition time, that office manager or that position I had for that, she had been with me for a long time. She just stepped down.
Oh,
She
man.
wanted to be a mom, and
Mhm. Yeah.
great. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, seriously, you choose now to be a mom? But no, it's I hired somebody else that was recommended to me, and I kind of was standoffish at first because I'm like, this person deserves a lot more than I could probably pay them.
Mm-hmm.
But after being referred to me over and over, this person, she just gave me a phone call. She goes, hey, I know my name keeps getting tossed up to you.
Yeah.
She goes, why aren't you calling me? And she's just bold enough to,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say that. So I said, well, I don't know if I could pay you what I think you're worth.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, that's flattering, but isn't that my decision?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I told her what I could pay her, and she goes, "That's fine." She goes, "My husband provides for everything, and I was working, and we decided to. I'm staying at home now, and I get bored." She goes, "My kids are grown." I'm
All
like,
right.
"All right, come on."
Perfect. Yeah.
And in that well, that was last year. Last year to now, I mean, we've doubled what we were paying her because she's shown her worth. I mean, we ended last year with 140 properties. That's what we began this year with.
Okay. Well,
So we're at, as of yesterday, 256, and then grew another, like I said, 20, 21 today. I mean, that's all been because of the staffing change, the software change, repositioning who does what.
yeah.
And we've been able to grow that, still not advertising, just changing our capacity levels.
Well, that's crazy.
So
That's good for you. So backing up, so you had your maintenance person, your admin. Did you have an office space, or did everyone work from home?
um, so I had a designated office space at my house
Okay.
that people would come in and out of.
Okay.
But once COVID hit, we did just do everything remote,
Okay.
and I just kept my my out exterior space with tools and supplies there for the maintenance guys going in and out.
What are some of the biggest tips and tricks that you can share about property management? Because getting started, there's all sorts of things to think about that I learned the hard way myself, such as we painted. I remember painting this one unit for the third time myself a different color because I didn't remember what I had painted it the first time. So I said I'm just going to pick a color and paint every single unit the same
Yep.
color. And now that's our standard, and I can tell people over the phone what it is, where to get it, how much it costs. So that is huge. Same with locks, changing the locks each time, then I'd lose the keys. So do you do digital locks? Do you do the quick set? Do you use a locksmith? So any tips and tricks, all the tips and tricks that you
Yeah.
can think of.
So over the years, we've done a lot. I've done, I used to carry a jar full of keys for every single property in every vehicle I had.
Yes,
And you go over bumps and you hear clink, 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 clink.
I've
And
been there. Yes.
so then one day, actually, it was a new maintenance man at that point. I think we had two at this point. And he said, "Why don't you put a key box at each property?" I'm like, "Why did I never think of that?"
Yeah.
So we just told that's part of our pitch when I'm talking to owners. I'm like, "Listen, you'll have a one-time charge for a key box." I said, "I usually pick them up 20 to 30 bucks, somewhere in that range."
Yeah.
I said, "We will mount that to the house, and that stays there. It belongs to you because you're paying for it ultimately. It's going to have an emergency set of keys in it." I said, "You as the owner are going to have the combination, and we are going to have the combination."
Yep.
And that was probably the single biggest thing that I did because now everything was the same code, and I could, or if they were different, now they can be different codes because our software that we have.
Yeah.
But at that time, everything was the same code, so our maintenance people knew how to get into a house. They didn't have to call me if I was on vacation or something like that. And if there was an emergency late at night, again, if I had to send somebody out there, they knew how to get in there, and it was just it was easy and it was good.
Would you use that for lockouts too? If a tenant locked themselves
Oh,
out, just give them the
absolutely.
code.
And I would say your contracts have to be another good thing because in our contracts, it's small, but there's a $25 lockout fee.
Yep.
So if we get called there for any reason a tenant's locked out, it's like, yeah, hey, we can go, but there's a $25 lockout fee, and it has to be paid when we get there.
Yep.
And tenants always try, "Oh, I don't have any cash." Oh, that's okay. Credit card, Venmo,
Yeah.
Cash App, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is, but the maintenance person going out, that's kind of another little perk for them.
Yeah.
They get to just have some gas money or whatever they want.
Speaking of leases, where did you get your lease from? Did you have an attorney draw it up? You buy it online?
So no, so again, bootstrapping in the beginning, I
Yeah.
didn't know what I was doing. So we went around to every complex that would give us free leases to read through.
Okay.
And we had 4 different complexes that gave us their leases. And my wife, as amazing as she is, she compiled all 4 of those into one master lease.
Okay.
And then we had a lawyer review it.
Okay.
And then every year, one of our things is every single year, that contract has grown since then.
Yeah.
But we have a law firm out of Detroit that reviews it every single year. And they say, hey, you can take away this now, or you need to add this. And they keep us compliant and keep us legal. And we know it's good to go. Same with our management contracts. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But the other advice I'd give them is stop taking everything so personal. And I know that can be hard because it's a lot of times if you're doing your own management, it's your money on the line. But you never have to be personal. Tenants are always going to give you every song and dance story there is out there.
Yes.
So keep it according to the contract. Well, you signed this contract. I'm just holding you to what you agreed on.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And it's, well, I can't pay rent because of this. Okay. Well, the paperwork for the courts, 7-day pay or quit, 30-day notice, whatever it might be, it was filed and turned into the courts according to the contract.
Hmm.
So we are going to keep it going there until you pay or whatever situation's changed. And then if you pay before court, great. If you don't, well, then we have to keep it going.
Yeah.
It kind of gives them that little added pressure
Hmm.
to, they're not joking. They're going in. I mean, 2024, 2025, I should say the end of 24 to the beginning of 25, maybe going through end of May,
Hmm.
more evictions in that short period of time that I've done in all the years combined.
Yeah.
But every one of those evictions were units that we were taking over with existing tenants in it.
Yep.
And every one of them had poor contracts or had owners that just had very kind hearts. I always tell everybody the worst property management people out there, or owners that are property management, are those that have kind hearts or not enough time.
Yep.
Because if you don't have time, you can't take care of anything.
Yep.
If you have too kind of a heart, you're always going to take whatever story they're giving you as the Bible. It's the word now.
Yeah.
I took over a property in Diamonddale. Guy had a lot of properties out there, and he's like, "Hey, just one of mine I'm having an issue with." I'm like, "Yeah, let us help you out." Guy hadn't paid him in 9 months.
Mhm.
And this owner, he's a good friend to this day, but he has such a kind heart.
Yeah.
And he never wants to put somebody out. And I said, "Listen, when does this become a problem for you?" He goes, "Well, the house is really paid off." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's see if we can get you some money flowing." So I just kind of examined it for the first couple of weeks. I
Mhm.
noticed that every single morning this tenant would go out and buy a case of beer.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in my head, if you don't have money to pay rent, you don't have
Yeah.
money to buy beer.
Right.
And I told the owner, I'm like, "Listen, we are going to file eviction paperwork on this tenant
Mhm.
because they're not even paying you in good faith any amount of money."
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if they were saying, "Hey, here's half the rent this month. I'm sorry."
Mhm.
But they're going out to get luxuries like drinks,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not paying you your rent.
Yeah, we had a wave of evictions after COVID, when
Yes.
the money ran out, because the tenants kind of got in the habit of, oh, if I don't pay, someone will bail me out, and it gets back down to the contract, and you have to make sure that you're strict, and
Yep.
you can be kind and strict. I don't. You say that the landlord can't be too nice. Not to say that landlords are bad, but
Yeah.
you do have to stick. You have to hold them accountable. Is what you
Always
need
be
to do.
hospitable with everything you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they are still people.
Yeah. Of
And
course. Yeah.
and the one thing I don't want, and it's happened before, even if it's fraudulent, is I don't want a tenant to go up and be like, "This person came to my door and they demanded money right now."
Yeah.
Like, no, I came to your door, handed you a notice, or usually we don't do that now. We have it served to them, obviously,
Mm.
but I'm asking where rent is, and you're avoiding our phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah, we tell people you have a few options. You haven't paid rent this month, so you have
Yep.
a few options. You can leave. You can, work out a payment plan, because sometimes people have bad things happen to good people sometimes. If they say, well, my hours got cut or I broke my ankle, so I had to take 2 weeks off, and here's a plan to get started. We'll work with people. But the options are, tell us your situation, move out, or get evicted.
Yep.
That's kind of it. And there's a lot of really good organizations out there that will help tenants that are in trouble bail out, but it sometimes cements in their brain that someone else will solve this problem. I don't have to. And oftentimes, more than half the time someone gets a bailout like that, they end up in eviction
Yep.
again, because they think the other company or organization will bail them out again, and they don't always the second time.
One thing I do not like is I'll issue paperwork. Like, let's say it's a 7-day pay or quit
Mhm.
notice. And a lot of times I've had tenants that will call the legal help, the free legal help.
Yeah.
And they've been told, don't pay a dime in rent until the judge orders you to.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that about Michigan. And there's a lot of investors I speak with nationwide that avoid Michigan because of our court system.
Yep.
Other states that may have different political views. If you don't pay, you're out in 30 days or less. We're here with the legal hotlines telling them that you can drag this out. We just had one tenant. We were right at the end of the eviction, and he paid up to the months that we had filed for. But because the court system took too long, he was now 2 months behind again. So
Yep.
he only paid the 2 months that we had originally filed for. But so the bare minimum, we're still paying our court costs and our attorney fees and things, and now we have to file everything to start over again because he's a month behind again. And it's this repetitive cycle that we're paying extra as the landlord. We're kind of getting penalized, and the tenant gets off with, I think, a $50 late fee is the max that you can charge
Yep.
in excess over rent. And it's bad advice, but I think it's also kind of bad. This court system here is not landlord friendly, and it makes it difficult.
Not at all. And just how long they take to get you a hearing date.
Mhm.
I mean, we have some that are, we took over a giant apartment building, and we have, I think 3 tenants we're having to evict, and we're going on 7.5 weeks now. We don't have our hearing date.
Yeah. And then you get the first couple weeks, that they can show up or not show
Yep.
up or whatever, and it automatically extends and extends and extends. It'd be great if landlords had some of the same favor in the courts, that just simply to say if you didn't pay for whatever reason,
Yep.
you're out after 30 days. And then I think more landlords would come in, and then landlords would also have more money to invest in their properties instead of having to spend it on
They will. And,
unnecessary fees.
my job is not to talk people out of using our services, but I always have a conversation. And it's over the 2-3 conversations we have before somebody signs up. It totals to maybe about an hour. So it's not long in total. But it's telling every owner, like, I want you to be prepared. If 90% of the time things go great, but there is that 10% where things can go crazy, and you need to understand what you potentially are in for. And you're potentially in for not receiving rent for a few months sometimes.
Yep.
You're prepared. You need to be prepared for having to fix up your properties.
Yep.
You talked about some of the things I've learned, and I just posted this on our social media page last week as well, where consistency is key. Consistency in colors, consistency in everything. We offer 3 colors to every owner, and I just said, I'm like, if an owner has a specific color they want to go with, it's their property, their asset. Will follow whatever they want.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's always a repose gray with white trim, white walls with white trim, or a capiche shell, which is more of a tannish color with white trim. And that way it's always consistent across the board.
Yep.
I have guys up right now painting a house over on Coleman, and it was very easy. I'm like, hey, this one's going to be capiche shell, and just go over there. I said, shouldn't take you guys longer than 3 days to get the whole house done. And they're going gangbusters on it.
Yeah.
Doing well.
So, getting back to your maintenance, as you scaled over time and you had maintenance guys, when do you choose to use your internal maintenance staff to do something versus hiring it out? We have an experience right now. We just bought a 21-unit building. There's 8 vacancies, and our handyman, is great, but he's only one guy. So if he's gonna take them a week per unit, it's gonna take 8 weeks. Compared to I could hire 4 crews that each take a week, and then now we can get it all done in 2 weeks. So
I think it has to go based upon money first. Can my guys get in there and do it cheaper? And is it either quicker or is it on par with their time frame? Because time is money as well.
Yeah.
So if another guy I'm paying, a couple hundred more and they can get it done a week sooner, I'm going to hire it out all day long.
Yeah.
But my guys, I tell every owner, I have a general contractor that has a contractor's license on staff, and then all these handymen. They are there for handyman stuff. We're not. We
Maintenance,
can
yeah.
maintenance. We can do full flips. We can do full remodels, but that is not the purpose of
Right.
our company.
Okay.
So we have other companies that we own that do that.
Okay.
And so these guys are out there. They'll like I said, they'll paint this whole room that we're in right now, and they'll get all that good and done and looking beautiful, and things are good, and we move forward. But if you're wanting them to go in and redo all the electrical and the plumbing, those are permitted stuff that we're gonna hire out.
Right.
The other thing that we've done differently than probably a lot of companies out there, maybe not, I have not checked it out, is I kind of have a numerical value. If I spend X amount of dollars in a certain trade, I look, is there a company out there that I can purchase?
Oh yeah.
So I looked at, we own several companies. I looked at one year, we did almost 30,000 in drain cleaning or plumbing related stuff in 1 year. It's like, I need to buy a company. I mean, I need to make some money from this because I'm not making any money when we're getting these service calls.
Yeah.
I'm not charging an owner extra for that. And so I started looking out there for a company. Who can I buy? And the guy I was using, I just made a random offer to him about 8 years ago. Said, hey, can I buy your company? He goes, absolutely not. I'm like, okay. I told him, I said, just keep it in the back of your mind. If I can buy it someday, let me know. I just move forward.
Yeah.
But we're consistently doing high numbers in that particular field.
Yeah.
Well, he called us about 2.5, 3 years ago, and he said, he called me and he said, hey, still want to buy my company? I'm like, yeah. Why do you want to sell? He goes, I was doing my retirement plan, and if I go work in a union for the next 5 years, I can retire with a pension with what I have out there already.
Yeah.
I'm like, good. He goes, the only condition is You have 4 weeks to do your due diligence and buy it, and this is the price.
Okay.
And I'm doing my due diligence really quick, trying to get out there, and I'm like, wait a minute. It dawned on me probably 2.5, 3 weeks into it. Like, why am I stressing myself out for what he wants to sell? He's a wonderful guy, and to this day, he's a good friend. I should say, he's became a friend. I said he wants to sell the company. He has 4 weeks. If he doesn't sell it,
Right.
then he's out.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I already know what money I do in this industry.
Yeah.
I just have to find somebody qualified to run it now.
Mm-hmm.
So I came in with such a low ball offer, and he accepted it right away.
Well,
And it was great because it started a drain cleaning company for us.
yeah.
So now I have my own company that's licensed, insured, bonded, all that goes out to do these drain cleans on properties, and we can beat the competition's price out there. And
So my biggest question when it comes to that, because I've thought about that too, and Cody Sanchez, I don't know if you've heard of her. She's the big buy a business
Yep.
guru, and the issue is the owner operator, right? It sounds like that guy was doing the work and had the company. So if he leaves, how do you find a qualified person to come in? And was this business creating enough income that it could support a full-time person, or did you bring on a part-time person, or what did the employee side of that look like?
So I guess it all depends on the type of business. So use drain cleaning, for instance. A lot of people don't know this, but when somebody's coming out to your house, unless they're an owner operator, if somebody's coming out to your house that works as an employee for a company, they're getting paid per drain a lot of times.
Okay.
So the company that you choose, they might be charging you $300-400, whatever they're charging you. But that individual that's coming out, he's getting paid $35 to $50 per drain.
Okay.
And that's just industry standard.
Extra on the holidays, because I remember.
Well, yeah, nights and
on
weekends are extra.
Christmas Eve, we had a sewage backing up in a tub, and
Yep.
the guy I called wasn't working, but he recommended me to somebody else, and that guy was thrilled. He said, "In one night, I make enough to pay for all my kids' presents." He said,
Yep.
"Thank you for the call." I'm like, "You're thanking me for cleaning sewage on Christmas Eve," but just a matter of perspective, and it works for him.
It is.
So
It is. And so in that particular industry, I mean, again, you live and learn. And I took a handyman that was doing phenomenal in our
Okay.
company. I said, hey, I think you could be good with this plumbing end. Let's just stick you in here and try. This owner's going to train you for the next week to 2 weeks. And he did. And he taught him enough. I'll use a phrase, enough to be dangerous.
yeah,
And it was good. It went well. I mean, there's some issues that took place personally with that person. We ended up having to let them go. But again, I used my networks and I got out there and we had it up and running and everything's great. We're almost to the point where I'll have another vehicle out there ready to go. But one thing we always do is always have enough backup equipment. I have enough backup equipment for multiple vehicles.
couldn't you use your current employees from your other businesses to seed that if that guy's out sick or something like that?
I can. I try to keep things separate, separate payroll, separate companies, separate insurance. I try to keep it separate, but absolutely we can. We cross train a lot. And a lot of times my maintenance guys are there to let them in anyways, and they just get talking.
Yeah.
Every Monday meeting to this day, every Monday morning, I meet with, well, right now it's 4 different companies. I take all the guys out to coffee,
Okay.
and they get breakfast coffee, and we have our weekly meeting where I assign work orders to everybody, and just go over, okay, where were you at last week, each company, and it's great. It's great. So it keeps us organized. It makes them feel more a part of the family and a part of the team.
Yeah.
And they get to also at that time stress their frustrations or concerns.
Yeah.
Tenants that are maybe great, tenants that may be problems.
Yeah.
All sorts of things. But Rocky, he runs our drain cleaning company right now, and he does amazing work. What he might lack, I'll say that I tell them this all the time. Rocky, what you might lack in speaking, because he's a very quiet individual. I mean, he knows a lot, but he'll stand there and just listen
Yeah.
versus talk, which is probably smarter than me sometimes. I said, what you lack in your communication with talking with people, I said, you sure make up with your skill set. I said, people ask you something, you come right in and you just know the answer and you just get it done. And it's one thing to talk it, it's another thing to be able to back it up. And he's really able to back it up. Another thing we did, like you talk about owner operator, we bought our first glass and screen shop November 20th, 2020.
Okay.
And right in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner was like, I'm shutting this business down, whether You buy it or not?
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, there's my first in right there.
Yeah. Motivated seller. Yeah.
And the price he wanted in the beginning wasn't even that expensive.
Hmm.
But I called up a friend and said, hey, you want to go on a business with me just for fun?
Yeah.
And he goes, sure. And it got down to the week before we were supposed to close. This owner that was selling it didn't get us the paperwork we need. I still knew I wanted to buy it. And it's turned out to be very lucrative since then.
Yeah.
But my partner just says, I've asked him for this paperwork. He hasn't got it to me. I'm like, well, I said, I'm still going to buy. Hopefully you stay in. And he didn't. He backed out. But what that did was I went to that owner and I'm like, listen, my partner backed out because of this. And the guy, he didn't break down, but he got very vulnerable. He goes, what am I supposed to do? He held up a bucket of bolts, probably from the 70s. I mean, they're that old. And he goes, what am I supposed to do? Say there's 157 bolts in here. How do I make an inventory report?
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, if you deem that valuable, you just say I have a bucket of bolts probably worth $5.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. Or leave it out. I said, all I care about the stuff you're going to make money on. And he goes, I'll tell you what. And he gave me a price that was like $20,000 less than what we had negotiated. He goes, buy this, $20,000 less. We'll call it good. I'm like, done. I didn't ask another question. I just moved forward.
Well,
And it was great. And since then, we've bought 2 other glass and screen shops.
okay.
And we're moving. But that was owner operated. And that was a huge learning experience for me.
Yeah.
Because he was analog everything.
Yeah.
He was anti-government, anti-computers. He was scared of the IRS.
Yeah.
So I had to get in there, and he was going to stick around for 4 weeks. He stuck around for 1 week
Okay.
to train me.
Okay. Was part of his compensation tied to how long he stayed?
Yes.
Okay.
But I ended up paying him everything anyways.
Okay. All right.
But he stuck around. He actually said to me, he goes, you really picked this up fast. And what you don't know, you got that tube thing out there that you can go look at. I'm like, you mean YouTube?
YouTubes.
And he goes, yeah, that thing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So it was a learning curve. I think I worked that. So I had my property management company going at that time. I just stepped down from my 60-hour-a-week job.
Yeah.
And I jumped right into owning a glass shop. And I worked at 8 months to learn the business and to meet my customer base before we ever hired our first employee in that company.
And that's a brick and mortar location,
That's
right?
a brick and mortar location. Yeah. And then we hired our first employee. Oh, my word. I remember the day I got to leave to go home. I got to go home at 4 o'clock that day. I was like, what do I do? What am I? It was crazy.
Yeah,
it
it's
felt
working.
so refreshing.
Yeah.
And then since then, we've hired several more people. We have an office. I look at the P&Ls all the time, but I probably haven't stepped foot in that shop in probably 9 months.
Do you have a manager in place now running all of them?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So I have a manager in place, and they have a team that works for them, and they're doing a huge complex in West Lansing right now, a few hundred windows. I mean, it's enormous. They're actually scheduled out. That one shop in whole is scheduled out to be at that complex for 2.5 months.
Wow.
It's very
So
big.
you said glass and screen. Do they just fix? What do they do exactly? Tell us about that business a little
So
bit.
glass. So basically, any of your commercial, residential glass or screen needs, we can take care of. Mirror. We take care of mirror windows replacement. Really, the sky's like, you got a rip screen, bring it in. We can roll one out really quick for you. You need new vinyl windows. We can take care of that. You need the current window you have that's damaged, just repaired to get you through an inspection. We can do that as well.
Okay.
You
So you
need-
install and repair.
We install, we repair.
Okay.
And we've grown to that. When I first took it over, it was just basically repair. They didn't do any new windows. But when we bought our second and third company, they specialized in new windows. So that just kind of came with the package deal. I'm
Just
like, this
layer
is great.
stuff on. Yeah.
So it's been good. I mean, we offer a lot of deals out to the landlords all over. We tell them, like, we have a set price structure, but we have several complexes that come in and say, can you just do it for a standard price? And so there's contracts, there's all wording and everything, but we, for the most part, as long as we don't have a drastic change in the economy, we can stick to the same prices for a long while, and we can guarantee complexes, discounts, and stuff like that.
Okay.
We're called, am I allowed to say the name? I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
The first company we bought was Discount Glass and Screen. And so people are coming, where's our discount? Well, we have a digital pages of discounts. It's, shh, don't tell my wife I broke a window. It's a discount. It's my anniversary discount. We have military emergency personnel discounts. We have landlord special discounts. Like, there's a discount for everything.
Okay.
A lot of people just have to step out and just ask for it. Sometimes we just give it. And the staff there have the opportunity to make that decision on their own.
Okay.
But they go up if they go in and they say, hey, I want a discount. That's your name. The manager will be like, sure. What discount do you want? Who broke the window? And they'll tailor it. And if they have to, my office's managers made up discounts on the spot before.
Okay.
Just because we want people to know that we don't want to sell you just our service. We want to sell you a solution. I'm big into that. I don't care what company I have or what I do in life. If I'm not helping solve your problems, then I'm not doing my job.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, jumping back to property management real quick.
Yeah.
Can you share any horror stories or experiences that you've had that are off the wall or odd or?
Yeah. So two. One's odd. One's just why. But two come to my mind. We had a pretty large apartment building off Pennsylvania, not far from Jolly Road, and I got a call in the middle of the night. Police. Actually, both these stories are at that same apartment building.
Okay.
But I got a call from the police saying, "Hey, we need somebody up here." I'm like, "All right." It's wee hours of the morning. I get up there, and all they needed was access into a unit. Let them into a unit. I said, "Okay, thank you." That was it. Nothing. And so they did their whole. I guess there was an argument. Is what there was.
Okay.
And so they did their whole thing. They cleaned up everything. They left. Well, the next morning, I had a new handyman. He'd been with me for about 3 weeks, young kid. And he was just learning, but he was released enough to go out and do smaller, odd jobs.
Yeah.
And he gets there, and he thought there was a homeless person sleeping next to the building, which is not uncommon for that area. And so he's like thinking he doesn't think anything about it. He just walks by.
Yeah.
A few hours later, he comes back by and still sleeping in the same position. Well, anyways, he goes up to him and kind of like nudges him slightly to say, "Hey, you got to get up." It's afternoon, and person was dead.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
this is what the odd thing. I mean, so the police did all their thing, calmed these two individuals down up there, and the person that was dead was an older lady I think she was like in her 70s.
Oh, unrelated.
I'm sorry.
Was it unrelated?
No, it was related.
Okay,
So the
okay.
police calmed him down. Well, in the middle of the night, apparently, after the police had left, they went back to sleeping. Well, the lady was sleeping in her bed, and the friend that she had spending the night came in and just started stabbing her
Oh, wow.
in her sleep. And this older lady fought her off.
Wow.
And the person that did the stabbing, I don't know the word for it, took off running. But this lady tried to make it down 3 flights of exterior stairs before the final flight. She tipped over the edge and was done.
Wow.
So we got called out that afternoon. The handyman's white as a ghost. I mean, he's never experienced this, never seen this.
Yeah.
And I say that story comes to my mind because years later, I mean, we're probably talking, don't quote me on the timeline, it's probably been close to 8 years. And it just went to court last year.
Wow.
I mean, my personal assistant back then, he had to go testify and all that. Wouldn't even work with me anymore, but
Yeah.
but that same apartment building, we had just taken it over. In the first week, the owners call me and they're like, "Hey, we want to use you in a management company. There's a situation we were informed of in the laundry room. Can you go sort it out?" I said, "Well, what is it?" They said, "Well, it might be simple. It just sounds like there might be people staying in the laundry room." I'm like, "Okay." So I get there, and there was homeless people sleeping in the laundry room. They had blankets on the cement floor. They were using the wash basin sink as their shower and their toilet.
Wow.
And I had to legally evict them out.
Oh, wow. They had squatters' rights?
They squatter because they turned the general utilities of the building into their name somehow.
Wow.
And this is what taught us to do a double verification all the time. They have to have a lease agreement signed, and then the different utility companies has to call us to get verification.
Okay.
But we hadn't taken over management at that point. I mean, we just were coming into this. We had to legally evict them out of a laundry room,
Wow.
which I would have never thought of. But the biggest thing is that we find are situations we run into where people leave it in really bad shape and trash. And for me to use the word trash is pretty hard. We were
Yeah.
talking about that before everything
Yeah.
started. I mean, something being destroyed or trash is really in the eye of the beholder. What have you experienced before versus
Yeah.
your first time?
Mm-hmm.
But we've had where we've taken 80 yards of trash out of properties.
Wow.
But that doesn't happen when you do regular inspections. So even if you just said, hey, twice a year, I'm going to go do an inspection, that will cut down a lot.
Yeah.
So we guarantee every owner that we'll do 2 inspections a year. And if they're ever late on rent past the 10th, it triggers another inspection.
Okay.
So it kind of helps mitigate that a lot more. So we kind of have an idea of what the property looks like. And if they ever have a maintenance request, we're able to get in there and kind of get a general idea of it as well. So
Okay. Yeah, and you kind of get ahead of it if sometimes the tenants go to court and say, "Well, I didn't pay because of such and such." Where if you got in there right after they didn't pay, you can.
yep.
That's the time that they could have requested or pointed it out, and if they didn't, then that's on them. But those are some pretty crazy horror
Oh.
stories.
We got a lot. I got dozens.
Maybe next time we have you. So what are you focusing now? You went from property management to a couple businesses you shared, and you're on the way to getting to 17 businesses. So
Yeah.
what do your businesses look like now? What's your business portfolio?
So we technically have 12 companies. We have 9 that we advertise to the public, really. And maybe more. I guess I'd have to count them out. But we have we have our glass and screen shops. We have our property management company. We have our drain cleaning company. We have it's a subscription based handyman service for the everyday homeowner. Boy, why am I thinking? Oh, so we have a real estate company. We had to start that out of necessity because we grew so much.
Hmm.
So I had to hire a broker to come on and all that stuff. We own Local Lunks, which is a junk removal company.
Okay.
Actually, my son is. I'm only a part owner in that.
Okay.
My son is technically the owner of that company, which I love. We have a cleaning company that we go in and clean residential and commercial. And there's different tiers of cleaning. The lady I have helping run that company, she is the best detailed cleaner I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, she's not cheap
Hmm.
by any means, but there's if you just want a quick spiff or straighten up, we have that as well.
Yeah.
But if you want somebody to come in once or twice a year and just do a top to bottom detailed clean,
Yeah.
we got you covered.
All right. All right.
So those are just a few of the different. I mean, we have other companies that are not related to this. Like we have a restoration company where we deal with insurances, so fire, flood, mold, stuff
Okay.
like that.
Mhm.
We have a jewelry company, stuff like that are just fun
Yeah.
out there. But my goal is to ultimately get to 17 companies, maybe more, but 17 is their goal that we're going after. And I say seed into the kingdom. I want to be able to walk into businesses and just be able to consult them. And that's another avenue that I don't necessarily have a company, but under my personal name, an LLC, we go in to consult with businesses and ministries all over where just how to get to that next level, encourage people. Kind of like I see you doing on social media all the time, just encouraging people. Just think different, be different, get out there and try it.
Yeah, a lot of people have analysis paralysis. You know,
Yep.
they don't know what to do, so they think maybe another book or another podcast might get me over the hurdle when you just have to pull the trigger. But it's easier to do that too if you have someone to call, like we were saying earlier. You know, whether it's a coach or a mentor. You talked to that guy in Jackson when you were
Yep.
starting. You know, because you don't know what you don't know, and you think that I want to start, but what if I get stuck? And having someone to call is huge. So it's great you can be that for people.
I talked to an individual that wanted to, I guess, quote, interview us for our property management services. So I just felt different with this interview. I said, tell me about your current property. He's like, I love my current manager. He goes, I don't want to let him go, but the vacancy rate is just not good.
Mm-hmm.
So talking a little bit with them, I said, why don't you let me sit down and go for coffee with this person? Give me their number, see if they're interested. I said, it's hard to find a good property management company that's honest and trustworthy and follows through with things. And I said, and if you really like this individual, maybe there's just a few things we need to tweak. I said, I'd love to sit down with them at no cost. Just I'll buy coffee even. So I'll pull money out of my own pocket.
Yeah.
But let's just sit down because there could be a day, well, maybe I need to sell my company.
Yeah.
Or maybe we've grown to the point where I can't accept any more clients this year for some reason or whatever.
Yeah.
Where I just need another company to throw things at. And I don't ever want to reverse anybody that I wouldn't use myself.
Yeah. So managing or running 9, 12, eventually 17 companies, how do you manage your time? And, is it just really good hiring? Are you perfect at balancing work-life balance?
So that is the number one question I get asked right now on social media and messages, direct messages, whatever is my schedule and what does that look like and how do I balance that line between businesses and family life? Because I have a wife and two kids. My wife's a stay-at-home mom, and we call her she's the CFO of the Johnson household.
Hmm.
And honestly, I couldn't do anything without her.
Yeah.
Um, and she doesn't work in the businesses, so to speak. She asked me a long time ago, she goes, "What do you want me doing in the company?" I said, "No, not really anything." I said, "I want you to manage me." I said, "You know me more than anybody. You can look at me and know Dave is stressed.
Yeah.
You can look at me and go, Dave needs a break or whatever."
Hmm.
So every one of my companies, every one of the managers, they know that Kristen calls, she might be changing Dave's schedule at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
And that's fine because she knows how to keep me going for the long haul. She knows when I need to go out and get a belly laugh and we need to,
Hmm.
listen to a comedian or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and she also knows things like the priority is our family. It goes in our life, it goes God, family, and then everything else.
Mhm.
But for our schedule, so we lay out the way to get your base schedule is take a month, and this so we'll take November for instance, and you block out your sleep time.
Hmm.
How many hours does your body need? I think my body functions on 3 to 4 hours. It feels
Yeah.
like, but some people might need a full 8, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But block out what you need for sleep. Then after that, you're going to block out what are your priorities in life. Do you go to church? Is there something that's as important as that to you? And then you're going to block out all that. Then you're going to block out your family. For me, it goes God's priority, family second. So then I block out all my family time. My wife and I guaranteed we've been married 21 years, I think. Oh, maybe take out the I think part. But no, we've been married 21 years, I believe. And we've been doing a date night for 22 years. Every single week. I think we've only missed maybe 5 in that 22 years.
Well,
But whatever date night you have, block it out because nothing needs to beat that. And then block out your time with your family, whether you have one family day or multiple. I take my daughter out every Thursday morning before school. We go out for coffee and we talk for about an hour.
hmm.
And then we have for me, it's Saturday. I try my best to take every single Saturday off to focus. I'll put my phone away, stuff like that. So get those base core things on your schedule. Then you know where you have room to schedule things in. And for me, it goes faith, family, and this isn't necessarily in any order, but faith, family, fun, finances, fitness, friends, and future. Those are my 7 F's that I go after.
Hmm.
So the remaining time out of sleep, priority, and families, I'll schedule out businesses with that. And I know like every Monday morning I have the meeting with multiple companies, and so that's every Monday. And we plan out vacation, stuff like that. So if you are finding that all of your time is used up, all of your time, and you still have consistently a lot more work to get done, you need to hire somebody out. And you need to find out what category, is it just a personal assistant in your life maybe?
Hmm.
The other thing with time is most people say they don't have time to learn. And this is, I just looked up the stats on this like 2 weeks ago. People sit on the toilet for 185 hours a year.
It's a lot of learning time.
185 hours. How much of that time are you just scrolling aimlessly on a phone
Yeah. Yeah.
versus scrolling on your phone to learn a specific category? Maybe take one topic a year and say, I'm going to spend 185 hours to master this topic.
Yeah. Step into your office and
Yeah.
learn something.
There you
new.
go.
So, as you're scaling businesses, you have your schedule put together, and then you just mentioned you get to a point that you need to hire somebody. What's some tips and tricks on how to hire good people?
So there's a lot of books and a lot of people that will tell you differently. I hire character first, skill second. I can teach a skill set. It's hard for me to teach somebody character.
Mhm.
I want to know that the character that they have is one that is going to be honest and trustworthy, one that is going to have their own priorities in life and know that they're not going to allow work to overshadow that.
Mhm.
But then when they are focused on work, they're going to be 100% at work.
How do you interview for character? Because I mean, if they're trustworthy, they'd say they're trustworthy. If they're
Yep.
not trustworthy, they'd say they're trustworthy. So
Yeah.
how do you?
So it's some of it is your gut. I rely on my gut 20% of the time, but that gut is a good spark
Yeah.
to engage in more questions. But you need to come up with quality questions to ask people. A lot of us have been through interviews where it's scenario based, or like, what would you do in this scenario?
Yeah.
What would you do here? I like to come up with, I look at their social medias.
Yeah. That can be telling.
That is huge.
Yeah.
I have a, I'll say this, I have a secret social media page because if they know Dave Johnson's looking at it,
Yeah.
they're going to change it. But this secret one, I had this all the way back in ministry. I want to know what you're really like.
Yeah.
So I have something that you'll never know the name of that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you might request my friendship, and I want to know what you're talking about, what you're posting, all this stuff. Um, but no, I'm asking them questions like, give me the last time that you got stressed out, and why did you get so stressed out? And if they start instantly ragging on their boss or instantly ragging on their job, that's a factor in it, because I know there are bosses out there that are just bad people.
Yeah.
I know there are jobs that are really stressful, but every question that I'm asking them, does it always lead back to it's somebody else's fault, or does it lead back to, you know what, I needed to grow in this area some more? I mean, I could tell you that it was always the tenant's fault or is always the owner's fault when I first started, but in reality, I had to grow.
Yeah.
I had to get to the point where the mindset of that owner's not here to work for me. I work for that owner of that property. That owner's hiring me in good faith to manage their money, to steward their repairs well, and to make sure that they are getting back a return. I tell everybody a contract's good both ways. If it's a one-sided contract, it's a bad contract.
Yeah.
So it's all in the quality questions that you're asking. For property management, for instance, let's go glass company. For my glass company, our office manager, my business partner in that company, I got pulled on a business partner about a year into it. That I will never regret that. He's the best partner in the world. But he advocated for this person. I'm like, no, I don't know. He goes, let's just try it. And he ended up, his integrity and his honesty is impeccable. What needed to change was his delivery of it.
Oh.
He would get angry with other staff members, and he'd go up to, he's an old ex-military guy, and he'd be like, bring it in. He'd start cussing. So bring it out. I'll give you one swing and I'm going to lay out. I had to keep pulling him aside and say, listen, you can't treat people like that.
Yeah.
Your knowledge in this industry is incredible. You could never convince me that you could steal from me.
Yeah.
Just his integrity is insane. I said, but how you treat people is how we're going to get people to love you and work with you versus just work for you.
Yeah.
And I treat everybody like family. Every one of my employees know, whether I'm involved with the company or not, they know they can call me. They know they can vent to me. They know that we're going to treat them like family. We have a Christmas party that we go to, or we all the companies come into every year. In fact, we just planned a date today.
Okay.
And there's no business talk there, and there's no making money on that. So Chris and I pull money out of our own personal pockets to give every single person a bonus. And Kristen takes it a step further. She tries to cyber stalk every person, meet them, greet them, because she wants to buy you a gift that's tailored towards your personality.
Oh, nice.
So one year she looked at a Pinterest board of a lady that worked for me, and there's a certain style of shoes that she wanted. And Kristen was like, we got to buy these shoes. I'm like, shoes? What? She knows better than me.
Yeah.
Well, this young lady she started crying. She was saving up for these shoes.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to buy it for her. But it's stuff like that. So you're asking the right questions, and when they come aboard, you treat them like family. There is work that has to be done. Like family, you still correct your kids. I'm not saying they're my kids, but still work that needs to be done. But before we ever let somebody go, I always think, do their skill sets fit in one of my other companies? And can I use them in that company before we just let somebody go? I've only had to let go three, maybe four people in 19, 20 years. But it's the fact that my mindset is not just let you go figure out another job somewhere. It's I don't want to let you go. And everybody's an ace somewhere.
Right.
Do I have a position that you're an ace in? And do I have another company that you're an ace in? If the answer is no, do I know somebody? I want to always leave somebody better. When people leave working for me, I want them to go, I've never had a better boss than Dave Johnson.
Yeah. I got a pop question for you.
Oh boy.
If a employee isn't performing, how do you tell if it's bad training and bad leadership, or if it's just that person and it's not going to be a good fit?
Get them in a scenario where they're not stressed right then, and listen to how they talk. If they're talking constantly about, again, about a person in the business, like let's say their direct boss that they report to, their office manager, whatever, then a lot of times there's some kind of beef between them, and you need to say, okay, first I talk to the office manager, or watch them even for a while and say, okay, how are they interacting with them? Is it really cold or is it kind?
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier. You always follow the contract with management, but be kind and hospitable while you do it. And you can correct somebody and be kind and hospitable. You can coach somebody to be better. And then if you take them out, coffee, golfing, whatever, it's non-stressful for you. Golf, I think, would stress people out. But then are they talking about the workload the whole time? And in that situation, that they'll probably thinking the workload's too crazy or the job's too crazy, and then you got to examine that end of things. But you get them in a situation where they're just not stressed and they're able to talk.
Okay. That's a good one, because we have, whether it's someone that's not performing or someone that keeps making mistakes or whatever it is, is it on the owners, the managers side, that we just need better systems, better coaching, better tools, or is it just not a good fit?
I mean, so we've also had those times where, and probably one of the more patient people you ever find when it comes to staffing, where we've had people that worked for us that just had one craziness after another in their personal lives, because that's a factor too.
Yep.
And they bring that in.
Yeah.
And that's something where I can be patient and understandable up to a certain point. I can't change your personal life.
Yeah.
And whatever crisis you're going through, I can't change that. I can help be there for you. I can help bring you dinner, support you, stuff like that. But there does have to come a time where I have to have a conversation with them like, hey, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I need you to be able to compartmentalize things when you come into work.
Right.
And you got to be able to do the job.
Yeah. And some jobs are better suited for other people. Working for an entrepreneur, I think, is probably harder because you're a little more hands-on and your effort goes further compared to a larger corporation that you can come in, clock in, do your work, clock out, and don't have to mentally engage as much. Because what I'm learning, some of the people that we hire are clock in, do the bare minimum, and leave, which is fine for some industries, but not for all hands
when you're an
on deck.
entrepreneur, it's not good in any field they work in. I don't care if they're a cleaner, a painter, or I mean, I want you to do your very best the whole time.
Yep.
And if you tell me your very best is a 7, is that truly your very best? And then I know my job is to help get you up even a better level, a bigger level. I want to make them better than even me. I want, if you were to come work for me, one of the questions I'm going to ask you day one is, what's your greatest desire that you want to become in life? What do you want to do? And then you'll tell me things, and I'll say, my job is to help make that happen in your life. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure out a way to either introduce them, get them set up or something to the right people in the right place to help them make that happen.
So you got hiring down, you got your businesses, you got a goal and that you're working towards. How do you acquire businesses? Is it through word of mouth? Are you constantly making offers? And then how do you finance the businesses? Are you using private funding, seller financing, bank funding?
So everything I've done has been word of mouth. So networking. The glass and screen shop, I negotiated face down on a chiropractic table. Doctor comes in and says, hey, there's a guy out here that owns a glass shop. I think he wants to sell it. You want to buy it? I'm like, sure. Yeah. Literally, just that simple. Sure. He comes in and he goes, oh, I've seen you here before. I thought you were, his words to me were, I thought you were some young punk just always on your phone. I said, well, I am always on my phone, but it's not for fun reasons usually. It's
Yeah.
well, and then I said, well, I think it's fun,
Yeah.
but it's more work. So that began that conversation. And I'm always throwing things out there. If I think that that's like the drain cleaning company, I just made an offer to him like, hey, I want to buy your business. He turned me down. So I ended it with, well, if you ever change your mind, keep me in mind. Let me know. I at least want them to let me turn them down first.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to buy an ice cream place that I really want a fun thing in my portfolio.
Yeah.
And I was gun ho. The price was very good. It was, I think, 140,000, building, business, everything. I'm like, this is a good deal. I know how much ice cream place. I've been studying this for a while. I know how much I go for. This is really good. So I asked to look at his books because you got to do your due diligence. And then that's when he started saying, well, it's a cash-based business. I said, listen, I'm not the IRS.
Yeah.
I'm not going to report you to anybody. I said, but I would be foolish to purchase this for a certain value over your books. And he showed me his books, and I said, the business on a high end was 80,000 is what it was worth on a high end. I said, I'm going to make you an offer. I don't know if you'll take it, but I'm basing it based upon your numbers that you record. And so I made it, and he just laughed at me. I said, well, tell you what, you get me 2, maybe 3 years of true books, whether you have them at home secretly and you didn't show them to me.
Yeah. 2 sets of books.
Yeah. Or you just work for the business for that long. I said, you bring them back to me and we'll talk. And he ended up, the business was shut down for 3 years. He just sold it a lot cheaper than 80.
Yeah.
I wish I would have been able to buy it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So I'm always out there at least throwing the net out.
Starting the conversations and then see what comes of it.
I have not ever taken financing out.
Okay.
I've bought everything. I guess I do take personal finance as my financing. So I'm 100% debt free in all of our buildings, all of our personal, everything. And I know there's all different ways to make money. Kristen and I ran through a situation in COVID when it first started. And everybody went through this housing crisis.
Yes.
And we had a mortgage. We had 2 mortgages at the time. One that we used as a rental, one that we used as our personal home. Well, the bank called our mortgage on our rental.
Wow.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah.
But they called our mortgage and I stressed.
Yeah.
I'm like, how? I mean, whether it was at that time in my life, 20,000, I think it was like 57,000 is what it was, but it might as well have been $1 million to me. I mean, that was crazy. So I said, I'd never want to be in this situation again.
Yeah.
And I chose to grow slower and steadier, but be able to pay cash for everything.
Yeah.
And it's worked well for me. There have been some situations where I came in to a business as a minority owner and just purchased through equity, through payouts,
Okay.
more equity in the business.
Yeah.
And that was good.
So no financing, no loans.
No financing, no loans. We own 100% debt free. We did the closest thing to a loan I ever did. I guess this was sort of the city of Holt found out that I was thinking about moving to glass shop. And they came up to me and said, you've been here for 30 years. We don't want you to leave.
Oh, wow.
I was like, all right, well, they said, what do you want? I said, well, I'm looking at moving to a warehouse building. So we're renting this little room. I don't know how the guy's been doing business here.
Yeah.
And they said, well, they pointed to a building across the street. I could throw a stone at it. It was so close. And they said, what about that building? We use it just for storage.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. I said, well, how much? And they gave me a price. The price was like $40,000 below market value at that time. And it's only increased. Now they've built apartments next to me, all this stuff.
Yeah.
The value is only increased. And they, not only that, but they said, you give us $5,000 down and you can have it paid off in 3 years. It's yours.
Okay.
I'm like, really? So we ended up having it paid off a lot sooner than that. It was, I want to say like a year we had it paid off.
Well,
But I guess that was the closest thing to a loan I've ever done.
yeah. Wow. So, growing your businesses, are there certain businesses that you target, or is it whatever comes? Like the ice cream shop you said was on your dream list. Are there any businesses you're specifically looking for?
Yeah. So I guess how I target it versus what's on I have 400 and different wants in my want list. I'm big into dreaming. I dream so big. I want to have a private room someday in the White House where I can just go and unlock it and sleep there for a while.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll ever happen, but hey, I just found this out last year at Disney World. You got the castle when you first walk in. Not too many people know there's an actual hotel room
Yeah, I've
in
seen
that castle.
Yeah, yeah.
but you have to be invited to it. You
Right.
can't even pay to be
Yeah.
there.
It's for royalty and presidents.
That
and
is going to be me. So
Dave
I'm going to
Johnson.
figure
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
So I have all these wants, but some of the wants are fun, but they all correspond with those 7 Fs I listed out. Some of them have businesses ideas, and some of them don't. But if I see something that just strikes me as a part of that want list, I'll throw it out there. The other thing is, like I said earlier, we were spending close to 30,000 a year in plumbing
Yeah.
and drain cleaning work. And I'm like, I got to buy a company, so I'm making money off this.
Mm-hmm.
Because in property management, our cost is your cost. We don't do any markups in that.
Yeah.
Again, the contract has to be both ways. It has to be good for me and the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And if an owner's paying X amount of dollars and a small markup on top of that, it just takes away from their margin.
Right.
And I don't want that. I'd rather longevity, long-term customers than just the quick money right now.
Yeah.
So I'll look at how much we're spending in different areas, and I'll say, okay, I want to buy a company based in this area. So I knew that's how we started a cleaning company that grew, and that's how we did drain works. And that's how we did glass company and stuff like that. Is we have this stuff, and my high vested networkers out there, like my chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
He's the biggest talker I've ever met,
Yeah.
and knows more people than I probably ever will.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff, people that surprise me every day. And so he's always asking me about my dreams and what's the next company I want to get. And I'll tell him, and he always has that in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
And when he meets somebody, he's like, I got a young man you got to meet right now. He'll call me. He called me from a gas station one time. I just met so-and-so. He wants your number. Can I give it to him? I'm like, yeah, give it to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's always networking out there. It's not about what you know all the time. That is a huge factor. It's always about who you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you know the right people and you're out to solve their problems, they remember you.
Yeah.
And then the timing comes in. And that's where you have to be ready to strike when the deal comes.
Right.
When my
And
mortgage
why do
got
you
called
decide
years
to
ago,
buy
it
businesses
was-
instead of start them from
I wasn't
scratch?
ready to strike and buy a house.
so
we didn't have them.
That's an excellent question, actually.
But I said I'll never.
So
let
there's
that
some
happen
that you
again.
start and some that you buy.
Now, if the right deal
the
comes
reason
in
why
front of
you
me,
buy
there
is
is
you
a
buy
cap
for
on
name
dollar
equity
amounts.
and
but
customer
Yeah.
base.
when the right
You
deal
usually
comes
can
in front of
start
me,
right
I can say,
away
no, I'm
with-
buying that right now. Cash flow coming in, or a customer base that knows you and starts buying from you right away.
Okay.
That's the reason to buy. The way to start is if there's not a company in town, but you can just corner the market and do things better. So there's a lot of things with property management, for instance, but we started that versus buying one. And I have bought one. We bought out a company about 5 or 6 years into it that was smaller.
Okay.
And we have another one that just contacted us last week asking us to buy them.
Okay.
But I started property management because I knew, okay, there's 4 basic things that we call core values in property management. You got your contract, you got your monthly cost, you got your service cost, and you got your fees.
Mhm.
So we tell people 3 out of these 4 we are unique on. And then that 4th one, which is your price structure of how you charge monthly for your management fees, that we're either on par or a little on the higher side. But we're very upfront with everybody on that, because we started it because we knew we could be unique in these areas and corner the market in it.
Mhm.
And it's worked. Because we chose to do word of mouth, it might have taken a few extra years, but it worked very well for us.
So are you you've bought businesses. Are you structuring all of your businesses in a way that one day down the road you could sell if you wanted?
Absolutely. Every company I own is for sale for the right price.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bank call me back in June,
Mm-hmm.
and they're only interested in companies doing 2 million or more. And so they called me about one of my companies, and they said, "Hey, would you entertain purchasing you?" So, well, tell me a little bit more about you. And basically, they represent multiple owners that come put money in a pot and buy
Yeah.
things. And I said, "Yeah." I said, I told them this. I said, "I will always sell for the right price, or when I stop having fun, whichever comes first." Right now, I'm having so much fun owning businesses and learning through this experience. Somebody asked me beginning of the year, around January, February, would you give these to your kids? I said, I'm building a legacy for my kids, ultimately. A legacy that honors God and sets my kids up for the future and my future generations. I said, but ultimately, I don't know if my kids will want to take over these businesses.
Yeah.
They might have their own dreams, their own plans, and I want to help support that. If they want to take these over, they start out like everybody else. They start out ground zero and they work their way in. And the reason why is I want them to experience every job, know how to work it, know how to deal with it, know what problems to solve, and then they move to the next job and the next job and the next job. I think every good CEO knows and can understand every level of work in their company.
Yeah, and appreciate it, because sometimes if you come in at the top, you might not appreciate the hard work that the people are facing on the front lines.
I used to be a custodian in a ministry of all places. I can't tell you how many times some people would be just give us praises like, you make this place clean. And then there were other staff members that just looked down on us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now owning the businesses I have, I'm like, the people that do the cleaning, that's your first impression people. They make it to when people walk into your houses, your facility, whatever, that it looks beautiful and people go, wow, instead of, ew.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like you've done that yourself, that you started with all of the jobs, you've worn all the hats, and now you can appreciate it, hire for it, and run different companies.
Early 90s, I made $2.50 an hour roofing for a family member. Come on. That's pennies. And even when I became a custodian, I was making $5.50. I thought I was making, I mean, I just grew. Just call me a president at that point.
Yeah.
I was making the money. But no, it was something else. But I'm thankful for every experience that I encountered through that whole my life, through my journey. So,
is there anything else that you wanted to share, or anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about?
I guess I would say this: don't ever let fear hold you back. If something interests you, step out and try it. If you fail, you know either it's not for you, or you know it that wasn't the correct way to do it.
Yeah. One
or the other. And so don't ever let fear hold you back. When fear holds you back, you never become what you were destined to do.
Yeah. You'll always probably wonder what it would have been like had you done it. I would, sometimes you fail and you realize this wasn't for me, but other times you fail and you say, I think I can actually do that, and get back up.
My first business I ever sold, I technically purchased for $1. I bought a coffee shop, and I didn't even buy it technically. The owner shook my hand, and there was money in between it.
Okay.
I didn't know how. I wasn't going to be rude and just look. I just stuck it in my pocket. It's 11:30 at night, and they were just getting stressed out running 2 different shops.
Yeah.
They said, we want you to buy the shop, and I told them, I would love to, but I don't have the money for this. And he goes, I happen to know you have enough money in your pocket right now to buy the shop. And he had all the contracts there, but it started because for almost a full year, I volunteered for him 10 hours a week because I desired to own a coffee shop someday.
Okay.
And so I went out and volunteered for him 10 hours a week. And he thought I was the craziest person in the world. But I wanted to learn the ins and outs of a coffee shop. So when he got to the point where he was stressed out in that particular situation, he thought, I want to give Dave Johnson the opportunity.
Yeah.
He did. We ran that thing for a while before we ended up selling it. And it was a good situation.
Yeah, you never know someone's motivation. It might not make sense to you,
Yep.
But that's why, like you said, it's a gem of wisdom to constantly just be telling people that this is what you do. I buy businesses, or I'm looking for opportunities, because someone might know something. And you mentioned earlier too that you got a lot of no's that turned into deals. I think some of my best deals started with a no.
Yep.
Like, hey, will you sell? No. Or hey, will you accept this price? No. And then a few months later, follow up, and then things change on their end, and now that no's looking, that offer's looking a little better.
Yep.
So it comes full circle. So you have a lot of businesses. So what's the best way for people to get in touch with the businesses that you have? Is there different websites, different phone numbers?
There's a lot of different websites, a lot of different phone numbers for each company. But I always simplify it like this. If you don't know what you need, start out with our property management. It doesn't mean you're signing up for services. You might just be calling saying, I struggle with drain issues, or I struggle with windows, and I can tell you this is who to call. So Simply Live Property Management, or I think our website's simplylive.com.
Okay.
And that will give all of our services. But if you're like, hey, I just need help in this area and it has nothing to do with rentals, nothing to do with property management, call us, because we'll have somebody to direct you to.
Okay, perfect. We'll put that in the show notes too for everybody. I think that's it for me. So yeah, thanks for coming on, Dave. I really appreciate it and sharing your wisdom, and I'm sure everyone got a lot out of what you had to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cool.